think this happens to people by the
This
mass?
meeting is being recorded.
What's up, fam? Welcome to L.U.S.T. Let Us Speak Truth. I'm your host, Nick. We got the panel on here, and we are having just discussion tonight.
Actually, let him know I'm doing the thing.
And Ro just got done doing his comedy show. Today is Trav's birthday, and we just having conversation.
Are we talking about the Memphis police?
No. No, that was over a woman.
Back up to what
That
you
was
guys
over
were
a
saying.
woman.
Back up before we started recording. Back up to what you guys were saying. Trav doesn't believe
George Floyd.
that we should be wearing or representing anything with George Floyd, and why?
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Do I think the man should have been killed? Let me set it off the muscle. No. Do I think if you go out and you have a background of being a degenerate, taken away from society, and you look at your background and then something happened, then how does it work? How does that work for everybody? Because if you're a hustler, if you're doing something, you destroying the neighborhood, and somebody wear a shirt because the police got on you, or is that the fact that like women love to say?
But you still need to be treated like a human being.
Like a human. And as far as George Floyd is concerned, that officer already had an issue with him because they had worked together prior to.
Right.
And that officer was well aware of what he was doing when he killed that man. That was flat out murder because they had beef before.
Right.
And the way that he went about doing it, that was what was so disheartening, because no matter what he did, you're pushing all of these people away. All of these other team members are supporting instead of making them get off this man and just handcuff him, throw him in the car. No, you gotta lean your neck on his neck, your knee on his neck, knowing that you're cutting off his circulation, and you sit there and you lay there and you watch this man die, knowing that you're killing him.
Okay. I go with that. Nick, can somebody look at George Floyd's background real quick?
Regardless of what he did.
You know, so if he put his foot on a woman's neck or kicked the door in or all that, you don't care what he did.
Absolutely.
Let me say this. For a police officer to kill him.
That's not true. Y'all lying now.
Listen,
because hear me out, Travis. This is my standpoint on that. Regardless of what he did in the past, I don't have no heaven or hell to put nobody in. Do I agree with that? He did some shit he didn't have to do? Absolutely. But my issue is this: I pay taxes. I pay for police officers. So did he, regardless of the bullshit he did. He don't pay taxes for a police officer to get a thrill and kneeling on his neck until he stops breathing. My issue, more than anything, outside of whatever that man's background was, he was still a victim of police brutality. That's what the fight is against. The fight is not against, oh, well, he was a bad guy. I'm not saying he was perfect. But regardless of what the hell he was, he didn't deserve to die like that. That man kneeling on his neck. Bottom line, I pay taxes.
I think Travis's argument is you live by the sword, you die by the sword. And I hear that. I hear that, Travis. I hear that. But we wasn't made to take a man's life or put man in heaven or hell. We can't do that. And so whether you're looking up his background or not, it's not going to justify the fact that he should have been murdered the way that he was murdered.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what I got right here, let me ask you this. What I got right here, he was convicted of 8 crimes, served 4 years in prison, accepting a plea deal from 07 aggravated robbery and home invasion. So look, let me say this. I get what you're saying. I understand. The only time I think you should invade somebody's home is somebody on the other side is your daughter or your wife as a man that you're going to save. So I'm sorry, y'all. I hate that he got killed that way. Yes, the officer was wrong. We do not have the power to take another person's life for whatever. But the bottom line is, if you somebody gets stopped and a police are off the muscle, cool. That man, he ain't been at Sunday school. That wasn't what he was doing. So I don't know why y'all acting like this is somebody where somebody said, okay, that was all right. No, it ain't. Stop playing.
I think you're misinterpreting.
We're saying that it's all right that he had that he had a record, so he shouldn't have died. Is that what you're trying to justify saying?
I'm not. No, I'm telling y'all.
Oh, Trav. That's a
No,
slippery slope,
no,
brother.
no. I understand. Look, if you're a D boy, a dope, it's some dope boys that ain't like that, and they don't. He wouldn't deserve that selling dope or doing something like that. But if you're saying a stick up kid is different from a dope dealer. I don't care how you want to cut it. A stick up kid different from a dope dealer. A nigga that kick a dough in is different from a dope dealer. I don't put a drug dealer in the same department with somebody that goes and rapes a woman. And y'all can quit playing and acting like yeah
Let
and
me ask
shake
you
your
this.
head and all that. Listen, y'all, if a dude a rapist, however he died, that's his fault. I don't care.
It is.
I don't care
I
nothing about how
understand.
that.
Hold
Guess
on.
I don't
what?
care nothing about
Let
how
me
that.
ask you
Hold
this.
on.
Let me ask
Rapist,
you this.
absolutely.
Let me ask you this. If you seen a black man on the street tonight, you walk down to the store, you see a man with a cop's knee on his neck, a white cop's knee on his neck, what would you do? Would you mind your business and walk away?
No. Get off of him. Get off of him.
And if he says you're going to be held in contempt, get away from here. Get away from here.
Get off. Then I'm gonna record. I'm gonna call. Get off of him. But I don't listen. I don't know what happened. I don't know why his knee on his neck. But get off of him, yo. Get off. Take him to jail. Do whatever you're gonna do. Get off of him. Don't kill him that way. I agree with that.
And that's the point that we're making, Trav. The way that he was murdered. And here's my thing. Again, as I stated before, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. So eventually, if you lead that type of life, eventually you're gonna run into something that's gonna either take your life or hurt you. But the way that it was done was inhumane.
Yeah.
So you don't believe God was just taking out the trash?
Oh,
Well,
come on,
let me
Trav.
tell you
Oh
something.
my God.
First and foremost, we're not God.
I didn't say me. I didn't say me.
No. I'm saying, but that's not our call. That's not our judgment. We
So
can't.
you don't believe it. So whoa. You don't believe in capital punishment?
I don't.
I don't believe as a human, you cannot take another human's life, period. You're not
So
God.
you don't believe in capital punishment?
I don't believe in. To me, it's murder. It's murder.
Okay, that means you don't believe in capital punishment. Okay.
The way they have it is it's legalized, but it's still murder. You're still taking another human's life, no matter what. And that's not our call. That's not our call.
I feel indifferent about capital punishment. I do, me personally. I don't know how to, I don't know because I would say in my good mind, hey, you shouldn't do that. But I'm not gonna tell you if somebody hurt one of my kids. I wouldn't be in favor of it. I'm not gonna lie. Lying ain't gonna get me nowhere in a situation. That's just how I feel. Now, the George Floyd situation, I'll say again, I do not feel like the cop should have choked him out, put his knee on his neck. No. But again, if you live that type of life, I don't care. It's gonna come see you. Period.
And that's true.
So you're just saying that he was a victim of his own karma.
That's all I'm saying.
That's what that I understand where you're coming from. Because at first I was like, that makes no sense. Now you're just saying he was a victim of his own karma. But you don't agree with the way karma met him. I got you.
No.
See,
I don't think the dude should have did it.
Yeah.
I mean, but here's the thing. What's the difference in somebody foot on his head and getting hit by a bus?
Well, a bus could be seen as an accident. This was done on purpose because this man was well aware of what he was doing. See, my whole issue is the consciousness of the police officer. He was well aware of what he was doing. And he made his mind up. You won't be here after I'm done with it. I don't think he understood the repercussions of of his actions. I think he probably thought he might have got fired. I don't think he thought that he was going to have to do time. I think that he thought his privilege was going to kick in and he was just going to get a slap on the wrist and keep on pushing. And he didn't.
I think that dude thought that this dude was who he was.
They had
a background. His background, and ain't nobody gonna miss him if I do this. That's what he felt like, and I agree with what you said.
He having to find out the hard way.
Yeah, he is.
Because a lot of them tried it after George Zimmerman.
Right.
So, think about it. I'm just tired of black men being hashtags. I feel like y'all need to know what it feels like to get old too. You need to know what it's like to live past 50. You need to know what it's like to live past 60 without being afraid of being a victim of somebody with an ego, a fragile ass ego at that.
Yeah.
But watch this. Watch this. Ro done lived a solid life. He military. He living. He doing his thing. He you know what I'm saying? He taking his comedy thing. He doing well. He ain't in no fear of the police when he wake up.
I'm sure the guy that was in Memphis that died at the
No,
last year was.
but you know what though? I'll say this: I'm not necessarily in fear of police when I wake up, but I do understand the fact that when I go out in the street, I got to be protective of myself. You get pulled over, bro, as a they don't know. They don't, like you said, man. They don't know you. They don't know nothing about my background. They don't know my
Right.
ID card. They don't know what's in my pocket.
Right.
They don't know what I'm reaching for. They don't know. They respond how they feel in that moment. But I think that's something that to me is a real sensitive situation because of that. I was in the military and I had to do things in security force situations and treat people a certain way in reference to their background and what we knew of them. You know what I'm saying? Like I was overseas and I actually had to have interactions with people that we were known as criminals and things of that nature. And you had to treat them a certain way in order to protect yourself. Because at the end of the day, cops, you can never get enough training to remove personal emotion and daily feelings.
That's
if you
true.
leave out the crib and you get cussed out, you find out your wife cheating or you get caught cheating or whatever, you go to work with a different vibe and a different attitude. So somebody else's actions or lack thereof, that agitation can go in the wrong direction real quick. That's why I say our number one rule in my house with our children, when you leave out, de-escalate at all costs and come home. We will sue later. We will go to court later. I need you to live. Don't be on there. Don't be the one pulling out. I'm recording. So y'all fucking with me. Y'all know, nigga, your car smell like weed when they pull you over. You know what's going on. Take the fucking L and bring your fucking ass home. Let me come get you from jail. Let me bail you out. Let me do whatever need to be done. Do not put yourself out there to where you get killed. Do not do it. Don't go live on social media trying to put on the show. No, bro. Get on the ground, put your fucking hands out and do not move. And I get it. Even in that situation, you don't know if they're going to George Floyd you and put the knee on your neck, blah, blah. But do everything that you can to prevent it and de-escalate the situation.
Let me piggyback off what Ro just said. Quick story for y'all. I'm in Atlanta. And this years ago. And I was in a foreign car, really nice car, and my car, and I'm riding, and it's late, and he pulls me over, and I had just dropped the young lady off, and he pulled me over, and he said, "Hey, whose car is this?" And I said, "It's mine," and he was like, "Oh, you awfully young," and it was a white officer, "You awfully young to have this car," and he said, "Hey man, I'm gonna let you go, but can I ask you one question?" He was like, "Where'd you get the money for this car?" And I just looked at him. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't want to put on a show. I took my hands and hung them out the window, both of them, like that. And he said, "No, you put your hands back." So I put them back on the steering wheel. And he said, "I'm gonna let you go, but I ain't gonna lie, man. I'm jealous as hell, straight up in my face." And I just whatever. So, like you said, and that was before the social media where you could go live and all that. That was years ago. You know what I mean? We're talking about early 2000s when this happened. But the bottom line is, like Rose said, yeah, come home. But for me, y'all, and I don't want to get it misconstrued because, man, I don't believe nobody should get their life took for something that could be prevented.
Right.
But I'm saying if you live a certain way, this ain't nothing I wrote. This is biblically. You live a certain way. Now, some innocent people get fucked up. That's how it works. But you ain't seen too many times you get hit by a train and you ain't standing by the track. Like when that happens when you live by that track, and that's all I'm saying. Now I don't think the brother should have got killed and put his foot on his neck. I'm just saying.
Let me ask you guys.
God deal with those things.
Do you guys think that history is repeating itself?
In what sense?
Yeah, in reference to what?
As far as like the killings and the people being afraid of the police and the being scared being a Black person in general. Do you feel like it's repeating history?
To a
I don't
certain
think
extent. I don't think
it's repeating history. I just think it's it's more televised now. I don't think it ever really stopped. I think it's just more televised. We got that
Right.
Rodney King shit was every day. We just nobody recorded it.
Right.
That Rodney King shit would have been nothing. That you can remove the whole LA Watts riots and everything if there was not a camcorder there.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing it every day because everybody, and the sad part is, man, the first thing people do in them situations is pull out their phone. Before they even try to help, they pull out their phone. People got to understand the smallest situation can ruin your life. It can end your life. You can end somebody else's. You can go to jail forever. The smallest situation, I even tell in reference to fighting, you punch somebody, like you out somewhere and it's y'all bump each other in the store, whatever, man, you punch them and they fall and hit their head on the corner of the hot dog stand at 7-Eleven. Boom,
It's a
they
wrap.
dead.
Rap, and you
Your
done
life
change
is
your life
over.
forever.
Yo, if you bump me in the club and spill my drink on my shirt, I'm gonna buy you another drink.
They don't get it, bro, because like you just said,
You know what I'm
and then
saying?
you got people getting manslaughter charges. That's still that ain't no good. That still ain't no good.
Right.
Oh,
Good.
you gonna get out. All manslaughter mean is you gonna get out sooner than with a full murder charge. That's all it means.
Hey, you know, one more thing that I think needs to be addressed too, though. Not this is not to make it a sex thing, but it is to make it a sex thing. A lot of times, a lot of men are in jail because of women. And let me explain what I
100%.
mean. Let me explain what I mean by that. It's always like when you're out in the street and you see a woman arguing with a group of men, and her man standing there like, "Yo, chill, chill," and she just keeps going, "Nah, fuck that. You gonna let them disrespect me? Fuck that." You got them. I'm talking, and I'm speaking. Not. I want a woman, my woman, to grab my arm and say, "Babe, let's go. Hey, yo, we good, y'all. Let's go."
Right.
De-escalate. That's what they're there for. That's what women's presence is for, because they de-escalate situations, bro. You know what I'm saying? And when men are out there and men are trying to, show that they lying or they the alpha in the moment, bro, your life can change in a fucking snap of a second. It's over.
Yeah.
De-escalate at all costs, cuz.
On that same note, Ro, what you just said, I know a dude to this day. And this is what, like, so a lot of times women put dudes in some real tough spots. Well, her brother is fucked up to this day because a guy broke up with her. He didn't do nothing. He just broke up. I don't want to fuck with you no more. So she got her brother to jump. Her brother got something the way he's got, like, he can't move his upper extremities properly. And that's what I'm saying. Like,
never again.
Women have gotten so many guys fucked up for nothing.
Right.
For nothing.
Yeah, like the guy that used to play Stanley on the Cosby Show. What was his name? Merlin Santana.
He got killed for nothing.
For nothing.
He the one that got killed.
Nothing.
And a girl told her brother that he raped her, and he had only met her one time. Wow. She was like 14, and she told him she was like 21 or something like that. And she lied and said he raped her.
What's up, young one? What's up,
young bro? What's up, bro? Didn't he diss her or something, Tootie? Like, he dissed her or something, right?
No, he just wouldn't call her back.
And they shot in his car. They shot in his car at a party in Cali.
Yeah.
Shot in his car and killed him.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's why I say nowadays, yo, you just got to stay safe, man. You got to do everything in your power to stay straight, man. You got to, bro. When I see the police and I pull up next to them, I don't like look away. None of that shit. I look over, I wave. I'm not kissing ass. I don't give a fuck, but I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm legal hubbit, baby. You pull me over, I got a license, registration, my insurance card is clipped to all of that shit in the glove box. Ain't but one reach for me. Huh? There it is. Ain't no shuffling around, searching for shit, looking for nothing. No. And I'm the nicest nigga ever. Hey, officer, how are you? You know I pulled you over? Sure do, because I was going 52 in the 45.
But see, Ro, look at what Ro just said.
Yeah.
When your shit legal, you ain't look. It's a different situation.
No, it's not. Sometimes, well, I'm not going to say that's all the time, but sometimes it doesn't matter. Sometimes,
sometimes they'll fuck with you just cause. That's true.
You know, the thing about it is, it'd be easy if we say,
he was in uniform.
It'd be easier if we say we don't live in a world of hate. Unfortunately, we do. So you have people that's walking around with their feelings on their shoulders each and every day. We live in a world that we don't love each other. So now we have this fighting amongst each other. Who's powerful? Who's this? Who's that? You know, and then now you have so much of not really liking your own situation. You're taking what happens at your house to the streets, and
Right.
someone is getting hurt by that. And so, Ro, as you were saying something about the video, pulling out your phones, I totally disagree with that, because you never know what type of attitude a cop may be. You never know what type of attitude or what's going on in their life. Hold on, in their life. People are so afraid because innocent people have lost their lives.
I agree, but
Right,
Tanya,
but what
I'll
I'm
say
saying
this.
is if you got a situation going on, you do not need 50 phones out. You can have 2 or 3 phones to call somebody calling the police, they go lock, yeah. But the men out there, this is where the men come into play. You see what I'm saying? The men in the community, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying jump on the cops and get yourself killed, because you got a family to go home to. So when you go walk up to go help and the cop says back the fuck up and pulls his gun out, there's only so much you can do in reality. In reality. You know what I'm saying? But you got to have that presence. Somebody needs to be there to calm the situation. Say, yo, young man, listen to him. Look, I'm looking at you. Look at me. I'm telling you to stop. Please.
Right.
Make sure you get home to your mama. Stop.
Yes.
Listen to the cop. Let the cop see that you're trying to help him de-escalate the situation, because we don't know what's going on. We don't know if we walked up and this guy was just shooting and then got caught. We don't know.
As Black men, if your children were to get harassed by a police officer, how would you handle it?
In the moment or after? Like, it's two different.
You weren't there. She just came and told you about it, or you had to go pick her up from jail.
Her or him, either one, either or.
Either or.
You said your child. I'm sorry, Nick.
Okay,
You said
so
your children or your
children. So your child gets harassed by the cops,
right.
daughter or son. They call you from jail and they tell you what happened and they need you to come pick him up. How would you handle that situation? Would you just go pick him up and leave and find out the situation from her, or would you raise hell?
Nah,
what I would do, because first and foremost, I'm not gonna go to a police office, police station where they have guns and I have shit. I don't have nothing. So I'm gonna take my child home and get the full extent of her story. And then I'll go back down there the next day where I'm calm, have prayed everything over, and then ask, can I speak to the chief of police, and go from there.
Right, because they got body cams, and you can go. You know what it is, yo? It's just like when we talk about child support stuff, right? And I'm not trying to switch lanes, but I'm trying to make it make sense, right? When we talk about child support and shit, and the guy don't see his kid, and they argue with the baby mama every day, blah blah, but they never go down to the courthouse to try to get put on child support in custody, so they get a certain amount of time set through the courts, right? When you go in those situations and you go pick your child up, they're already in jail, okay? So we know they survived the moment. So you go pick them up, you bring them home. They tell you what happened. It could be fucking horrible. I will cry with you. I'm sorry that happened. We're gonna get a lawyer, and this is how adults handle shit. You don't go to the courthouse and wild out. That's what's wrong with people. That's why people getting killed for road rage.
Right.
You pull up next, somebody cut you off. They was just trying to get over. How about this? Instead of not letting them get over and causing more of a problem, just let them go. Who cares?
Yeah.
I let people go. I don't care, yo. Yo, go ahead. Like, I hate riding with people that have road rage. You will get your ass shot in the car, cuz. I hate riding with somebody who like, fuck that, pulling up next to the person, flicking them off. You did this, trying to speed up to catch up. Yo, my nigga, let me out, bro.
Right. Right.
Yeah, but you can get a lawyer, go down, get your kid out of jail, get a lawyer, and go from there. If you got a case, you got a case. If not, it happened. I'm sorry. I pray it never happens again. This is the life we live. Not only because you're black got a part to do with it, but this is the life that we live on a daily basis. It could be anywhere.
Go ahead, Trav.
Right.
Nah, I totally concur with Ro. I think and I see this here a lot of, you got single mothers that are raising kids. So a lot of times the women will go in an emotional state and go down there. And my son, I go up to the school, and I know that, like I said, not to switch lanes, and yell at a principal or a teacher. as
Mhm.
opposed to
Right.
assessing the situation. Because, like Ro just said, okay, you got treated wrong. We had a teacher that was here that just got her leg broke in a wrestling match. It's on YouTube with a student. And had that been my wife, that we gonna get a lawyer and deal with Rockdale County. We're not gonna
Mhm.
what I'm gonna go up there and yell and put on. No, you handle it with paperwork. You don't have to do
Mhm.
all that. Just handle it with paperwork. That one thing. But again, y'all, like that, it's a tough situation. You know what I mean? Because, like I said, if your daughter, like, I'll use this. If your daughter get handled by some police officers, something like I need to look at that. I understand young guys, but young girls ain't walking around with guns like that. Them young boys is. So I understand him being a little bit apprehensive about the young dude because you don't know what this. He 15. He weigh 111 pounds. He ain't never fought nobody, so that's all he got. You know what I mean? In those situations. But if a young girl getting handled, she must. I'm not siding with an officer. I want to know what's going on because
Mhm.
usually something ain't right with that. If he handling a young girl, she must have been popping off for real, for real.
But but these young, and I'm no disrespect, these young girls, they're out of control. Their mouths are out of control, bro.
Mhm.
Well, you know why
Fuck
that
that,
is, though,
fuck
Ro.
this, fuck that,
But you
fuck
know, you
this.
know what, that is, though, Ro. Because it's that
Nah,
imaginary. It's an imaginary box around them that they're protected.
yeah,
I'm still a woman. You can't hit me. So
right,
I'm gonna pop
I don't
off.
even think it's that. I think they're more driven of like getting like shares and likes. So if you act the fool and pop out, then there's more shares and likes. So don't even say it has anything to do with this imaginary wall of protection. I think it's about image, trying to get some shares and likes.
right.
Speaking
Yo,
of,
like I got a crazy story, right? Like I'm not sure if y'all familiar with Virginia. Y'all familiar with Portsmouth, Virginia?
Yeah.
I done
All
heard
right,
of it.
this is like the urban area, Portsmouth, Norfolk. Them is like the urban
Yeah.
areas, right?
uh,
Predominantly urban. So my little cousin, who's like my son, right? He's 21. He's from Portsmouth, so he's like a little bit more hood than my kids from Virginia Beach, right? But he always come pick my son up and take him out Portsmouth with him to go chill in the hood, go holler at the girls, go to house parties in the hood out Portsmouth. P Town be getting it popping. I'm just keeping it funky, right?
Mhm.
One day they came to pick my son up, bro. It was three of them in the car. Came to pick my son up. I go outside. I'm an active father, right? I was okay with letting them go because my cousin's from Newport News, and I used to go. My mom used to let me go with him to the parties in Newport News, so I knew what it was. Same world, two different places. I go to the car. I'm an active. What's the word? When I'm intrusive, I'm an intrusive parent. So I go out to the car. Yo, what's up, young man? Who are y'all? What's going on? What's up, nephew? What you doing? Talking. The little one kid sitting in the front seat. I say, yo, y'all be good out there, man. Y'all take care of yourselves. People crazy, right? Y'all got my son with you and my nephew. Y'all be all right out there. This little young guy pulled a gun up like this in the front seat. He was sitting in the front seat. He pulled the gun up like this. We good, OG. I'm straight. And the shit was so big, I was like this. I looked at my son. I said, get the fuck out the car. Get out the car, bro. My son was like, yo, dad. I said, no, sir. I said, yo, whatever. I said, yo, you're lucky y'all are way away from Portsmouth. And nephew, this dude needs to get out of your car. Wherever y'all are going, I wish I could take that gun and follow y'all home just to make sure you drop that off and y'all don't get pulled over. If the cops come, there's no way you can hide it. Bro, this shit was like this.
Oh wow.
We good, OG.
How
No,
how
sir.
how how old would you say he was?
Bro, he had to be 17. Had to be.
Okay, so
Wow.
you have no life experiences and you finna go make a life move
Bro,
where you're never
just
gonna
riding
have a
with
life
that shit,
experience.
just riding with that shit in the car, bro. And then my little cousin, he got one of them little $1,500 Honda Civic joints with the real dark tint on it, and they got 3 hubcaps, and they don't got the license plate on the back of the car. It's in the back window.
oh, you're guaranteed to get pulled over.
You got
Yeah.
Yeah.
with 4 little niggas in there, bro. No sir, Javon, you're
So
light
so
skin. Get out the car right now.
so we
And
go
they
back
all
to what we
smoked, so
said.
the whole whip smoked out. Yeah.
So we go back to what we said before. Y'all saying you shouldn't be treated a certain way. I get it. We shouldn't. But when you do that, what do you think's gonna come with that?
Right.
I
I'm
understand.
Well,
I'm asking
And give
I'm
you
asking, lady.
It still does
Well,
not give a cop any authority to.
Y'all don't
Trav,
understand.
Trav,
Listen,
Trav,
y'all
first
don't
and foremost, let
understand.
me
I
say
mean,
this. You cannot justify someone taking a life. You just can't justify
I'm
it.
not
Yeah.
justifying
But
it. I'm not
again,
justifying it.
but again,
I'm
like
not
I said
justifying it.
before, live by the sword, you die by the sword. If that's the type of life you live, then eventually that's going to catch up with you.
Okay,
But to
so look,
But to outright murder somebody,
let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you all this. And I really want the truth. Not the fuck the feelings. I want logic.
mm,
If you leave your house, I'm using an example, and it's along those lines. If you leave your house at 11 o'clock, you've been talking to this dude all day on the phone as a woman. You leave your house at 11 o'clock, you tell him it's gonna be an hour before you get there. You wind up there at his apartment a quarter to 1. You go in. You go in his room, you lay down with him, and he rape you. Does that woman should never be raped? He should never be wrong. She shouldn't have went to his crib. That's what I'm saying. Like y'all, we look at things the wrong way. I understand. Roe did the right thing. He told his son to get up out of there. That's a bad. That's an accident waiting to happen.
truth.
If you go to a man's house, come on, y'all. Let's be real.
I agree.
I'm not
I agree
saying.
with Roe, but
but
But that
sometimes,
still
listen,
does not justify.
it don't justify
Uh,
somebody's taking something from somebody. You just can't do it.
I understand what you're saying as far as the rape and the woman should not go there.
Don't say the R word. YouTube gonna block you.
Oh, my bad. The R word. So if that happens to somebody and you went there, first of all, why are you going to somebody's house you don't even know? Period.
that hour, that late.
I don't care. I don't care if you know him. Nick, if you go to a man's house at nighttime
Mhm.
and you know what the score is, you should assume that you're having sex, and you should let him know, I'm not coming because I know it's nighttime and I know you want to have sex. Just say that. Don't lie. Don't get yourself in that situation for some food. Don't
Right.
get
Right.
yourself for a foodie date. It's not that important. Shit,
Right.
go to your uncle's house and eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and take your
Right.
ass home. Don't
I-
do it. I'm
I-
serious. Like that was a bad situation, and I applaud Ro for saying get up out the car. That dude is looking for whatever. Y'all in traffic, y'all turn in front of him, you flick him off. He been burning it down. He been drinking. He gonna let the chopper rip.
That's true. That's
Don't
that's
do
true.
it.
I agree.
So
agree.
now that same kid, if the cops stop him, he get jazzy at the mouth. You don't know what he gonna do. He can start shooting in the car and shoot the cop or whatever. Now you got kids that just want to have a good time. Now that somebody dead, somebody in jail, somebody got to get lawyers. Come on, y'all. Like I'm not against having fun. I'm not against none of that. But if you riding around and you got your tag taped in the window, you got hubcaps missing, you got black tint, and it reeks of weed when you roll it down. What you think the officer think?
Right. And then you know what? I got a good question for y'all too, though. I got a real good question for y'all. Because none of us are in law enforcement, right?
Right.
Right.
What is the law enforcement officer's desire to go home, need to go home every night to their family? What does that weigh on y'all when they respond to situations? Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
You're
Like they have the right to preserve their lives as well.
Right.
Agreed.
And a lot of times they go to situations where it's out of control, G. That's why they're called.
Yeah, but you
But-
guys are talking. There's good cops and bad cops, y'all.
exactly.
Yeah,
But even the bad cops were good cops at some point. You know what I'm saying?
Not necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I mean, you know.
No. Just like the recent incident with the 5 black cops.
Right.
So no.
Well, I'm not saying that they were that. I'm saying when they first came into the academy, before they were, because 9 times out of 10, you get corrupted by your coworkers. 9 times out of 10. That's what you said,
Or
9 times out of
you
10.
could follow suit. You could be following suit of your
Right. You come
daddy,
in there and they
your
got that
grandpa.
the blue line, the blue badge, you know, where you fall in line with the team. This is what we do. Look at training day, right? You got the white dude on training day.
Right.
He had the opportunity to become a corrupt cop, or because he got a whole lot of money real quick, but he chose the other side.
Right.
But so they're saying a lot of them other dudes that was with Denzel, they might not have been them type of cops if they wasn't with Denzel. You know what I mean? But they have the right. All I'm saying is what my question originally was how do y'all feel about their right to preserve life as well and make it home? If you walk up to a car on the interstate that's, like we said, all blacked out, all this shit, all that shit, you open the shit, you smell weed, the niggas, you know what I mean? The nigga going to put his arm out the window, like, even if he's just passing you his ID, you don't know that fear. And I know you're going to say the training, bro, there's nothing like in the moment.
No, it's
Ho-
and it's not.
Hold on. Let Trav talk. Y'all. He had his hand up.
No, I'm cool. I agree with Ro a lot. In that instance, because you got to understand, you can simulate whatever you want, but when you out there in it,
right?
It ain't nothing. Listen. I'm from around the way, and some dudes tried to rob me one time. I gotta tell y'all, man, it's a different feeling when the lights come on for real and it's real live. It's real live, and they were kids. So with that being said, though, and I'm not being funny when I say this. I know y'all think I'm crazy when I say certain stuff, but like if an officer ain't never dealt with women, a man, he didn't go to prom, he ain't had no friends growing up, he should never be a police officer. I'm
Right.
telling you the truth. Those things permit forever in your life. If you didn't date women, if you didn't do that, if you didn't get picked on sports teams, if you were picked on in school and all that, you shouldn't be an officer. And they need to that's why I think they should increase the salaries and go dive into their backgrounds. Like ask questions, find that stuff out. Because when those guys if they were picked on and they didn't have and all that, a lot of those guys they come back and they say, I'm gonna even the score now. So that's where you get a lot of people that act that way that are officers, because they didn't have an opportunity, they didn't have no friends growing up.
Right. Hold on, Ro. Go ahead, Tanya.
Let me ask a question. Don't they do more background check? I don't even know if they do that. When you do jury duty, they ask you certain questions before you can actually do jury duty. Like if you're
Jury
president.
selection, the jury selection.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
Go ahead, bro.
Go ahead, Ro.
But what I'm saying is the extensive levels of background checks. If your mental issues are never reported, they could never find that out. It's impossible. You could never legitimately find and say, oh, he got picked on the bus, he can't be a cop. You'll never find him. But we all know they out there. We all know they're there. But it's impossible, because with background checks, you're going to put your references down. They're going to call your last job. They're going to call you your references. Nick, I told the police your name for my reference. You're going to say nice shit about me. You know what I'm saying? To
Right.
get me the job. Like that's. But the extensive background checks, man, it's just like the gun laws. We can't win these wars, bro. You can never. I don't care how many laws you put on guns, it will never prevent shootings, because the niggas that shooting get the guns illegally anyway.
Yeah, that's true.
It doesn't even make sense. It's like it doesn't make sense to keep putting gun laws when the people that are shooting are the ones that are getting the guns illegally. It doesn't make sense.
You know what, Ro? What's amazing is that young dude thought he was showing you something that was cool by pulling that
Right.
gun out. That's where something is wrong here. He thought that was something cool to show you that, like you was going to applaud that and say, yeah, that's cool.
Right.
No,
And that's
bro,
why I
get the
said
fuck outta
that's
here.
why I said the kids, the fathers in these communities, bro, need to. And I'm not saying that they're not doing it, because in mine, I do it. Even with the little kids on my street, I'm Mr. Rory down the street. Like, I tell them, get out the street. I tell cars to slow down when you see the kids outside. I help them fix their bike handlebars. If they down on my end of the street and their shit mess up, I'll tell them, yo, pull up here. I'll help you fix it. Everybody, parents are very communicative. We all know each other. Yo, you got to have these communities. When you say it takes a village, that's just not fake. That shit is real. Somebody back in the day, you got to be the guy, to stop the stuff when you see it going on. Like, and to bring it all back full circle with the Charleston White thing, right?
Mhm.
He says it in some of his commentary. Yo, what happened to the OGs that used to tell the young guys, man, put that weed out? grandma coming into the store.
Mm.
Put that blunt down. Your grandpa coming up. Somebody older is walking into the store. Open the door for them. Y'all get out the way. You see them coming. You see them women
Right.
coming. Y'all move out the way. What happened to those dudes? What happened to the dudes that say, yo, here come these little young boys putting them guns away? Why y'all little boys ain't, why y'all not in school? Who does that anymore?
It's so
That's
it's,
key. What happened to the men? What
It's the
happened?
village. They were, I'm sorry, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, yo. I hate to say it. My personal opinion, and y'all can shoot me down if you want. They were raised by women. So now men move up. Hold on, let me finish. Men think with an emotional mind now. When before men thought rationally. Men thought rationally. We're taught by other men to think rationally. You know what I'm saying? Not that we're not allowed to have feelings, but somebody got to be the one to handle business while everybody else cry. That's what the men do. That's what my father told me at my grandmother's funeral. I said, Dad, why are you not crying? All your brothers and sisters are crying. He said, I got to make sure this casket get put in the back. I got to make sure this shit right here get taken care of. I got to go sign this paperwork. I'm going to cry in the shower tonight, bro. Somebody got to be that guy, man. And it's not what happened to the men. And because you look at it, this generation of men, when would you say the single mother household started?
with
Ooh,
that Section 8.
The
With that,
80s, 90s, right? The 80s,
well, no.
90s?
It was
Before
we
then.
we were 74% marriage rate in the 60s. Now we're like
Right.
24%. So
Right.
you got to think that's really materialized from the 90s up to now. So it's at the height now. So you got
Right,
to
but what I'm
understand.
saying is where I was going with it, though, Big Trav, is this generation of men right now
Yeah.
are the product of those mothers. No
Yes.
disrespect. No
No, it's
disrespect.
the truth.
They're a
It's the
product
truth.
of these no fault. And I'm not blaming the women. I'm not blaming the women, Nick. I'm not blaming the
No, I
women.
get it. I
What
get it. But you guys gotta give some of that responsibility to those dumbass men. Those
No, what I'm
How
saying is
so?
the
How
men.
so?
I get it. The men
How
weren't
so,
there. They
Nick?
were a lot of them. A lot of people had absent fathers. I get it. I get it. But so they were being raised by their women, which made men now start to think like women with emotion.
But I
Men
want
act on
Nick to answer
emotion
that.
now.
I
They used to
want
act
Nick to
on
answer that.
rationale.
What percentage would you give to those men? I want to know.
I don't do percentages because
Okay, so what would you
it's factual information.
what would you give to the what would you give?
Ro made a comment that made sense right now when he just said those deadbeat men or those bullshit men didn't have fathers then. And
Mhm.
it's like for full circle. So I get that. I get that.
So let's take the men out that don't want to be a part of the family. Cause I'm gonna go. That's his fault. Let's take the dudes out. Let's take the other dude who does want to be a part, but the lady puts the kids in the car and leaves North Carolina and lives in Texas. And she knows that this is gonna make it difficult for him to be a father. And she says, "Hey, we don't need you. My kids are gonna be just fine without you as long as you pay that child support check." But you got an emotional woman thinking a certain way, and I'll struggle as opposed to allowing him to be a father. So, quote unquote, a badge of honor, whatever that is, that makes no sense. But I'm just saying, you see that quite a bit. And you got, like you said, you have men who think like women. We are not the
Right.
same. So when you take a man and you program him to think like a woman, you say things like, "Be in touch with your feminine side, be vulnerable with me." That's not a man's job. So when you get that, that's why you get guys nutting up, killing their girlfriends the first time they get some sex from them because they
And they get
break
their
up
heart
with them.
broken because they
They
can't
get their
handle it.
heart broken. They can't handle it. He get upset. He might go drink a tall glass of bleach and kill himself because he's stupid as hell and he never been with a woman. You got other men doing things like going and committing crimes that they ain't even thought out.
So
Why
do
would you go
think,
to
do you think we're reversing roles?
most definitely?
No, yeah, I do. I think the gender roles have been reversed, and this we can blame it on the government with Section 8. We can blame it on this. We can blame it on that, right? But you remember there was a saying, right, where when you had a homeboy and he kind of act a little feminine, right? What did everybody used to say? Oh, you could tell he was raised by his mama and them.
Or he was raised by women? Yeah.
Right. So that's my point though. So if there's so many no father households, the product of the quality of men that we have today, these younger generation, are a product of the woman's work put into the children.
Absolutely.
This is a fact. If y'all are saying there won't no men around, we did this ourselves. Well, this is what y'all did. This is the result of y'all shit. That's cool.
I got one thing that's wild, bro, and I'll say this: you got mothers that allow their daughters' boyfriends to go into their bedrooms and close the door. Mothers allow it and spend the night. If a man was in the house, they'd tell him, leave the motherfucking door open, player. Number one. Number two, you can't come in our bedroom like
I'm
that.
gonna say you just can't go in her bedroom.
Yeah, y'all
Then
stay
no
in the
guys
living
get to go
room.
in my room.
We'll go in our room. Y'all stay in the living room. We'll let y'all have that. Yo, but you
But
know,
but
I got
but
another one for you.
Tootie, there are mothers that are doing this. She done grown up now. Her little boyfriend Chad, they doing their thing. What are you saying?
Right.
Mm,
Hey, yo, did y'all ever watch The Wire?
yes.
Yeah, I remember.
Do you remember the young boy? Not Michael, not the one that, but he was the younger one, and he had braids. And his dad was the brown skinned dude that was with Avon and them. He was like one of the shooters, though. He was real down. He was from the very beginning of the season. Anyway, he ends up getting locked up.
Mm-hmm.
The son is like 14. The mom like, yo, you need to get off your ass and go out there. Your daddy gone. It's your turn.
Yeah.
You got to take care of the family. You got to go out there and get it. The dude was out on the block trying to be, he was living in his dad's shadow. Everybody knew him from his father, but he kept getting punked because he ain't had a heart for it. He crying to his mama because he don't want to live that lifestyle. And she was like, no, you better man up. Don't make me call your dad. Or when your daddy call again, I'm going to tell him you are acting like a punk. You need to go out there and get this money.
Okay, so now you guys are talking about all the men and the absent. What about the women?
Yeah, it's bad.
What about them, Julie? What about them, Nick?
Like we just did a whole slew of stuff on young men and how men leave the households and they're raised by women and this and that. What about young ladies with
Young,
what if you have a lady that's raised by her father, absent because the mom's gone?
She's most likely gonna be a very strong-minded, mature type of child.
The facts are, and y'all might not even know it, but you can look it up. Y'all can look it up. A child has just as chance a high level of succeeding by being raised by their father as they do at a two-parent home. The numbers decline drastically when they're raised by a single mother, and that's just because he's gonna provide order. He ain't gonna lead with emotion. He's not gonna lead with his emotion. He gonna lead with logic. If you don't go to school, you're not gonna graduate. He don't really give a damn about I don't feel good and all that. He can't decipher whether you feel good or not. So he's gonna say go to school. He's gonna say stop hanging with that group of girls. He's not gonna say let me figure out if your girlfriends are okay. No, he's gonna say that's a bad girl.
Right.
She slick with it.
So I get what you're saying. So let me ask you this. So being that you have, let's say there is a strong woman who was raised by her father, who's very independent, and she meets a man who's not as strong as her. And then this is how the cycle is formed.
That's what's going on in the world right now. That's it. You just gave the description of the dating world. These men are not, that's why you said the roles was reversed. The men are now the emotional ones, and the women are the one like, yo, what the fuck? Yo, this nigga's crying and shit, bitching. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is now. The dudes are, and I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm an emotional character, but I was raised by my mother and my sister. My stepfather was in my life every day, but he didn't want to overstep his boundaries. My father lived in a different state. He was a phone dad, you know what I'm saying? And he was around enough, you know, in my mind. I think he did a great job as a father from a distance, but the reality is I learned all my stuff from my mom and them.
Right.
But
I was told to get married to my first son's mother from my mom and them. Like they just started talking about it one day because she was pregnant. Next thing I know, I was at the store getting an engagement ring. Swear to God. My father was like, "Are you fucking retarded? You ain't ready to be married yet, man. No, hell no. Let me talk to your mom."
bro, one of the most powerful things you did in that, going to the military, was one of the powerful things. Said aided you to say, wait a minute, whoa, whoa, I like this, I like that. Not what my mom said or what my aunt them said or whoever. I like this, I like that. A lot of times, what Nick just said is really, 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 really cool. She said the cycle. She gets raised by dad. Then she says, okay, I'm out here. I'm at this level. I'm trying to make this happen. Then she comes across a guy that's been raised by his mom, and she likes him. And for all intents and purposes, he's a good guy. But it's just the bottom line, whether people want to believe it or not. Beta males, they're and I hate to use that term, but weaker beta guys, he's gonna tell a woman what she wants to hear. You hear him say things like "happy wife, happy life." You're gonna hear him say things like "put my woman on a pedestal." Those things do not work with a woman. If you don't, and I don't want to say assert dominance, if you don't say, "Hey, I'm here. We're together. I got you. I love you. We doing this." If you don't do that as a male, she's always gonna look down, and that woman can be somebody will take your woman from you. When that Rottweiler come around, Rottweilers and poodles are not the same dogs. They're both dogs. They're not the same dogs. I'm just being honest. And people say that a real man is all women want a real man. I'm not talking about an abuser, somebody a
Right.
tyrant. I'm talking about a real thoroughbred dude that you know when you go out, you feel safe.
Like James Evans.
There
I
you
always
go.
compare- Yeah, I always
There you
compare-
go. There you go. He wasn't beating Florida up,
No.
but they knew nobody in the house knew not to mess with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm, mm.
Hey, yo, I love y'all, man. I've had a very long day, yo. I
Hey,
got to get off this phone.
hey,
You know what
take
I'm
it easy,
saying?
bro.
Y'all, we
Yo,
Good night, bro.
happy
Thanks
birthday,
for coming.
homeboy.
Hey,
Bless
Love
appreciate
y'all.
it, bro.
We're not gonna
All
stop
right,
here, but we're gonna end the live, y'all.
all right, y'all, I'm out.
Trav, one love to all y'all. Subscribe to L.U.S.T. Let Us Speak Truth, and we are out of here.
Bye.
Deuces.